I'm Katie, and I'm currently taking the Real Estate Pre-License course through Metro Brokers Academy School for Real Estate. I want to invite you to study with me on my channel. We will review all the chapters individually, as well as the vocabulary you need to know within each chapter. So don't forget to like and subscribe at the end. Without further ado, let's move on to today's topic. Real Estate Exam Prep, Government Quiz Time, with Katie Landers Does Real Estate. Before we get started, let's go over how this quiz is going to work. I will first ask you a question and repeat the question and list out 4 choices, A, B, C, or D, for you to choose from. Once I'm done reading your choices, the timer in the upper left-hand corner will pop, and you will either have 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds to produce an answer, either in your head or out loud like a crazy person, before the answer is revealed on the screen. Let's do it. Under police power, which of the following cannot be done? A. Property can be condemned as unfit for occupancy. B. Property can be zoned. C. Property can be taken away for public purpose, provided fair compensation is given. Or D. Subdivision regulations can be enacted. The correct answer is C. Property can be taken away for public purpose, provided fair compensation is given. When may a salesperson legally refuse to show a house to an Asian prospect? A. When the seller has indicated a desire not to have an Asian own the property. B. When the seller prohibits an Asian from physically coming onto the property. C. When the seller says the property is not to be shown while the seller is out of town. Or D. Never. C. When the seller says the property is not to be shown while the seller is out of town. A developer purchased a parcel of land 10 years ago, at which time the current zoning would have permitted the construction of 80 houses. Now he is ready to build, but a recent rezoning now restricts him to 40 houses. Is he entitled to some compensation for the downzoning? A. Yes, because it is right under eminent domain. B. Yes, because the property is grandfathered. C. No, because of an exercise of police power does not require compensation. Or D. No, because he should have improved the property when he bought it. C. No, because an exercise of police power does not require compensation. Zoning ordinances and subdivision regulations, as examples of the enactment of police power, usually cover such matters as A. Baselines, B. Setback lines, C. Deed restrictions, or D. Encumbrances. The correct answer is B. Setback lines. Concerning the federal fair housing law, which of the following is correct with respect to definition of a minority? A. Any group of members of a group that can be identified by race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin. B. Any group or member of group that can be identified by any other characteristic on the basis of which discrimination is prohibited by a federal, state, or local fair housing law. C. Has nothing to do with numbers. Or D. All the answers are correct. If you answered D, all the answers are correct, then you get a cookie. The county tax assessor, A, determines the assessed value of each individually owned property in the county. B, sets the book value of individual properties. C, sets the tax rate. Or D, collects the taxes due on all properties in the county. The answer is A, determines the assessed value of each individually owned property in the county. With the best of intentions, a salesperson advises an African American family to avoid an area where there have been incidents of bigotry. This constitutes A, no violation of fair housing law if the facts stated were true. B, no violation of law since the advice was given with good intentions. C, a violation in the form of blockbusting. Or D, a violation in the form of steering. The answer is D, a violation in the form of steering. The Lead-Based Paint Hazard Reduction Act requires that the buyer be provided with certain information when purchasing a residential dwelling or a residential dwelling in which a component of that dwelling was built prior to 1978. Which of the following is correct regarding these disclosures? A, the disclosure must be made prior to closing. B, the disclosure must be made prior to showing the property. C, the disclosure must be made within 10 days of the signing of a contract. Or D, the disclosure must be made prior to entering into a contract to purchase. D, the disclosure must be made prior to entering into a contract to purchase. A prospective purchaser who is Caucasian asks a salesperson what percentage of the families in a particular area is African American. The salesperson's best course of action would be A, to refuse to answer the question. B, to advise the purchaser that the question is improper. C, to refer the purchaser to an appropriate agency such as the Public Schools Administration. Or D, to assure the purchaser there is no reason to be concerned since the percentage is small. C, to refer the purchaser to an appropriate agency such as the Public Schools Administration. The City of Longview has approved a budget of $12,500,000 that is to be funded by ad valorem tax. The assessment roll shows that all non-exempt property has a fair market value of $950 million. If the assessment rate is 40%, what tax rate will each property owner be required to pay? Again, the City of Longview has approved a budget of $12,500,000 that is to be funded by ad valorem tax. The assessment roll shows that all non-exempt property has a fair market value of $950 million. If the assessment rate is 40%, what tax rate will each property owner be required to pay? A, 33 cents per dollar. B, 33 cents per $100. C, $3.30 per $100. Or D, $4.40 per $1,000. The correct answer is C, $3.30 per $100. The Mrs. Murphy exemption to the Fair Housing Law of 1968 requires which of the following? A, that no real estate broker is used. B, that no discriminatory advertising is used. C, that the owner rents units in a 2 to 4 family building or rooming house. Or D, all the answers are correct. D, all the answers are correct. A buyer whose number is listed in the Do Not Call registry has called a broker requesting information on a listing. For what period of time may the broker continue to call the buyer with information on other properties in which the broker feels the buyer may have an interest? A, never. B, within 3 months of the initial inquiry. C, within 18 months of the inquiry. Or D, an unlimited time unless the buyer requests no further calls from the company. B, within 3 months of the initial inquiry. Beth Stanfield inherited a lot on Central Avenue in the city of Bellevue. The lot is zoned for single-family, detached residential use. In trying to sell the property, Beth has been unable to find a buyer because of the excessively heavy traffic on Central Avenue due to its widening 2 years ago from 2 lanes to 6 lanes. Beth has petitioned the Bellevue Zoning Board of Appeals for permission to construct a duplex on the lot. Her request, if granted, would constitute A, non-conforming use, B, a variance, C, a grandfathered property, or D, spot zoning. B, a variance. If a house is assessed at $9,000 and assessment is 30% of market value, the county assessor would have judged its market value to be A, $27,000, B, $27,500, C, $28,000, or D, $30,000. The correct answer is D, 30,000. Of the following statements, which is correct with respect to zoning ordinances? A, planning commissions and master plans generally are not concerned with aesthetic value. B, zoning regulations supersede deed restrictions in homeowners' bylaws. C, private restrictions in zoning ordinances may be both effective with respect to the same land at the same time with private restrictions imposing additional limitations on the use. Or D, zoning ordinances have retroactive application as do private restrictions. C, private restrictions in zoning ordinances may be both effective with respect to the same land at the same time with private restrictions imposing additional limitations on the use. You are a licensed salesperson working with an out-of-town Arab client who has identified a home he wants to see in a neighborhood that you know is predominantly Jewish. You should A, tactfully suggest an alternative, B, show the property, C, explain that the neighbors are predominantly Jewish, or D, refuse to show the property. B, you should show the property. Which of the following practices would not violate antitrust laws? A, refusal of real estate boards to admit qualified members. B, any brokers going into collusion to set property prices. C, establishing a company policy for determining commissions to be charged. Or D, 2 or more brokers going into collusion to set commission rates. C, establishing a company policy for determining commissions to be charged. A client asks a licensed salesperson to find a tenant who will lease his or her furnished home for a 4-month period. To which of the following might your refusal to rent not constitute a violation of fair housing laws? A, an Asian family. B, 4 university students. C, 2 single women with a child. Or D, a blind man. B, 4 university students. Which of the following statements is true concerning the CAN-SPAM Act? A, the use of misleading subject line is permissible as long as the transmission is identified as an ad. B, the sender has 30 days to honor an opt-out request. C, the act prevents the sending of commercial emails unless the sender received prior written permission. Or D, every commercial email must contain an opt-out provision. D, every commercial email must contain an opt-out provision. Charlie is a Laotian immigrant. He has subdivided his lot and built a new house next door to his own house. In listing this new house, he asked the salesperson to look for a Laotian purchaser. Which of the following statements is true? A, the salesperson might advertise Laotian preferred. B, the listing isn't illegal since Charlie has only expressed a preference, not a requirement. C, the listing salesperson should refer the listing to a Laotian salesperson. Or D, the listing should not be taken under these conditions. The correct answer is D. The listing should not be taken under these conditions.
And that's all I have for today's topic, folks. Thank you for studying with me, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.